And we're going to change things up, kind of a split-second decision. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to have them talk about the teachers this year, is the plan. So I am the one that's supposed to go first, so I'm going to go ahead and sit down here. All right, go ahead, guys. No, I'm kidding. I am kidding. I don't even want to know what they were going to say. You guys know how much our staff love you guys, every one of you. I imagine every staff member would love to talk about each one of you. But we do want you guys to know that you can always talk to us about anything. You can come to us about anything, even when you're 24 years old, 26 years old, whatever it might be. But know that you guys are always welcome. You're always loved here at Campion Academy.
Good evening, guys. Happy Sabbath. So to start off the night, obviously a lot of this night is about us as seniors, but we still have to remember that it's Sabbath. So tonight we are going to begin this Vespers with some praise and worship music. So yeah, sing with us and praise God with us.
Sin and darkness, whose love is mighty. you've done for me.
Our next song will be What a Beautiful Name. You are the Word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you our Christ. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ our King. What a beautiful name it is. And nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. You didn't want heaven without us. So Jesus, you brought heaven down. My sin was great, your love was greater. What could separate us now? What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ our King. What a wonderful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. Death could not hold you. The veil torn before you. You silenced the boast of sin and grave. The heavens are roaring the praise of your glory. For you are raised to life again. You have no rival. You have no equal. Now and forever, God, you reign. Yours is the kingdom. Yours is the glory. Yours is the name above all names. What a powerful name it is. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ our King. What a powerful name it is. Nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ my King. What a beautiful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. And our last song tonight will be "Oh Come to the Altar."
Are you hurting and broken within? Overwhelmed Have you come to the end of yourself? Do you thirst for a drink from the well? Jesus is calling. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Leave behind your regrets and mistakes. Come today, there's no reason to wait. Jesus is calling. Bring your sorrows and trade them for joy. From the ashes, a new life is born. Jesus is calling. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Oh, what a Savior! Isn't He wonderful? Sing hallelujah! Christ is risen. Bow down before Him, for He is Lord of all. Sing hallelujah! Christ is risen. Oh, what a Savior! Isn't He wonderful? Sing hallelujah! Christ is risen. Bow down before Him, for He is Lord of all. Sing hallelujah! Christ is risen. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ.
All right, let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much that it's your Sabbath. Thank you so much for the senior class and just the wonderful experience I've had of knowing them these last few years. And please, thank you so much for tonight, and that all these parents and family members could come out and just relive some of the memories between the staff as well as the students. In your name, amen.
Happy Sabbath, everyone. Just trying to get this up. I see you waiting, but I'm not ready to take that first step towards home. So please be patient. Oh, you know I'm trying, but these good intentions are not enough. And you've pulled back your veil, laid it all on the line, but I've turned my back and covered my eyes. So please, 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 please cripple me, so I cannot keep running away. Away. A man without you by my side. I don't know who I am. So please, 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 please cripple me, so I cannot keep running away.
Good evening, class. It's kind of fun to go first because nobody up here knows who I might be talking about, so it puts them all on edge. After a while, you can kind of whittle a few out. I'd like to introduce to you tonight a beautiful young lady that I couldn't live without. And that is my worker, Damaris Nieto. Go ahead, stand up. Hanging on the back row, trying to stay under the wire. Watch out for those. Damaris is hardworking, very efficient, focused, and reliable. She takes initiative, gets the job done, and moves on. She can slip in and out, and I sometimes don't even realize she's come, but I can always check the grade book, and I know she's been there. She's interested in pursuing a career in medicine as a nurse and then maybe a doctor. Another way her friends describe her is strong. She lost her dad at a younger age, but her friends tell me that that has made her strong, brave, and determined. I hear her brother tried to keep tabs on her, but if you know Damaris, you can imagine how that worked out. She is her own person. She knew what she had to do and she stepped up. She enjoys sports, and her coaches and friends say she's as determined and persistent on the field as she is off. I think her favorite phrase is, whatever. It often has Zeka's name added to the end of that, I know, but she probably has that response to everyone else as well. Those of you who know Damaris know that she is opinionated. She knows what she thinks. She's not afraid to speak her mind. She can defend her position and stand up for what she believes to be right. You would not describe her as wishy-washy. I think maybe Louis XVI should have taken lessons from her. Maybe he wouldn't have lost his head. They tell me she used to be a girly girl. Now I would describe her as a Tootsie Pop. Sweet, a little hard on the outside, but soft on the inside. You might have to whittle down the outside crust a little bit, but what you find on the inside is well worth the wait. She's sensitive and funny. I think the best thing about her is her laugh. Damaris, I wish you the best as you carve out a life for yourself, and I would like to share my favorite text with you and the rest of the class as well. You guys have a lot of decisions to make, and many of those are coming up soon. And those decisions are going to affect you and what you do and where you go and who you marry and where you live and what you spend every day of your life doing as a job. Jeremiah 29:11-13 has always helped me when I'm wondering about the future. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. And class, I guarantee you, you will be found.
Like Cindy, I've never gone this early before. This is kind of cool because I have a whole dorm full of boys that have no idea who I'm going to choose. And the stories I could tell. Any of you nervous? Good, because you're up. I need you front and center right here, please. That was perfect, Jordy. Well done. We did not rehearse that. That was just maybe a little bit more, like over just a little bit, up a little bit more. Right there, works. That works. The directions I could go with this. Woo. But I'll start at the beginning. So you visited before you came to school here, and you literally might have been the most excited person to come to Campion I have ever met. You were so pumped. Like, he was practically giddy. So excited to come to Campion. You remember that summer before? I sent you a message. Remember that? What did I ask you to do? Work for me, didn't I? Yeah. And you said what? Yeah. I'll have you know, Joy, right then, man, I saw something in you. That's why I asked you. I didn't even know you yet, but I saw something there. And you worked for us for about 3 months, and then we threw a little bit of a curveball at you. And you stepped up, man. You came through for Dean Hughes and I can't tell you how much that meant to us. We survived that year in some unusual circumstances, but we could not have done it without you, man. I appreciate that. I actually texted Dean Hughes today to see what he would have to say. And he loves to teach you about some stuff, so I was not sure what I was going to get back from him. But I promise it's not too bad. I greatly value his desire to be a leader for the Lord, his willingness to use his talents in music and natural people skills to better other lives and support the goals of the dorm and Campion. Jordy, you've been a huge blessing to us, and I thank you so much for all that you've done for us in the dorm. I also just want to talk, we were blessed tonight, were we not, by his music? Jordy, I am just sometimes in awe and just like, I wish I could sing like that. Wherever you do in life, Jordy, I just share your talent with people, man. It's amazing to listen to you, and it's been a blessing. I also want you to know that you, I really believe, can do anything you put your mind to. Do you remember what you told me leading up to Ironman competition? What'd you tell me? Admit it, Jordy, in front of him. What'd you tell me? Yeah, can you say it louder so they can hear you? And then what did you do? He did. You did well. I wanted to leave you, Jordy, with a quote from our buddy Bob Goff. So for those of you who don't know who Bob Goff is, he wrote this amazing book. We're going through it, the RAs, Dean Hughes and I, this year. And in the back of his book, he puts his phone number there, and he encourages you to call him. What'd you do, Jordy? Did you call him? What did he answer? Yeah. That's pretty cool, huh? He is amazing, though. If you haven't read Love Does, do it. Every day, God invites us on an adventure. It's not a trip where he sends us a rigid itinerary. He simply invites us. God asks, what is it he's made us to love? What is it that captures our attention? What feeds that deep, indescribable need of our souls to experience the richness of the world he made? And then, leaning over us, he whispers, let's go do that together. You have that book, Jordy. I gave it to you. That quote's in there. You should go find it. Jordy, wherever you go in this life, take God with you.
It's my privilege to talk about two fine young men this evening. The first is Charlie. Will you stand up? Charlie is one of our morning workers in the cafeteria. He always comes, he always works hard, he does his job, and he leaves. We never have to worry about him talking our ear off. He just really very seldom talks. We try, but he's very quiet. And he does his job, and he does a really good job on it. When I asked him probably a couple months ago if he's decided where he's going to go to school, he said he had not decided yet. But I have heard since that he wants to go into computer engineering or programming, and he is still deciding where he's going to go. He's very dependable, and the verse, if you're waiting for it to be as long as it's not going to be, sorry. The verse I have to offer you for college and life is Proverbs 16:3 in the New Living Translation. Commit your actions to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. So I wish you well in all that you choose to do, Charlene. The next one is Ricky. And I'm sure he knows that I'm going to mention he looks very nice this evening because there are no headphones and no hoodie. Ricky worked for us in the cafeteria last year, and he continues to help us out on big occasions and when we ask him really nicely. Ricky is planning to go into nursing and possibly the IRR at Union or Southwestern. He's considering how his choices will affect the rest of his family before he decides. Besides being a good worker and caring for his family, Ricky has a dry sense of humor. In fact, he might want you to think that he doesn't have a sense of humor, but he does. He acts like he doesn't care about anything, but we know better. He wants to serve God in the way that God can use him best. The verse that I really like has, out of 3 people, already been said today, so it's on the wall here too. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. I wish you well in everything that you do, Ricky.
You guys look awful good up there. Laver, I get to talk about you. Laver has put up with me calling him Lever his whole time that he has worked for me until I finally figured it out that it's not Lever, it's Laver, and he's very patient. He works for me. I work in the principal's office, but I also take care of custodial. And he works in the gym. And he is always on time, punctual. That is one of my very best, favoriteest things that people can do is be on time. And he comes in every morning. If he has a lab, if he's going to be gone, he always texts me, always lets me know. Those are good qualities that when they leave here, they're going to take those qualities with them. And I appreciate those. I have a couple things. Manny used to work for me too, and these two, you'd think Laver's really quiet, but you get him and Manny together, they're not really quiet. They're really quite fun. But one morning, I don't go down to the big janitorial room very often during the day, but I just happened to pop in there, and there's an outside door that is locked, or supposed to be locked. And I walked through the door, and they're coming in that door. And I don't know if they were more surprised or I was more surprised. They were caught. They were fine. I wish you the best, Laver. He's been a good worker, and I know that when he leaves here, he will continue to be a good worker. And I know he loves Jesus. When we were in chapel last week, or when we were doing our 10 days of prayer, they had asked for people to stand to be prayer partners. And Laver was one of them that stood up right away. And I admire that. It takes courage to do those kinds of things in front of your friends and in front of your peers. So I'm proud of you, Laver. I thank you for working for me, and I wish you the best. The other, Miss Diana, there she is. Mrs. Harlow had your name, but she had to be out of town this weekend, so I get to say what she was going to say and add my own couple words too. This is what Mrs. Harlow, when I first heard a high-ranking wrestler from Latvia was applying to come to Campion, I wasn't expecting to see the pretty, petite, and nervous young woman with a sweet smile that came through the door. Since that day, I've gotten to know Diana, and I've realized that she has an uncommon mixture of determination and sweetness that will carry her far to reach her goals, while touching many with her friendship along the way. While I've only heard of her focus and drive on the wrestling mat, I've seen her focus and drive in the classroom, unwilling to settle for less than an A. At the same time, she remains humble and is always ready to offer a helping hand to anyone around her. Diana, I'm so glad you joined us this year here at Campion. I pray that God continues to bless you in your bright future. You know, it takes a lot. This is very courageous, coming from a different country, coming to school and people that you don't know, culture. But this is true. She's always ready to help. And when she sees me emptying the wastebasket or washing a window or something, she's like, oh, I want to help. I'm like, no, you don't need to help. But she always wants to help. That's just the kind of person that she is. And I admire her, and I'm glad that you came to Campion too.
Natty. Natty, I'm going to use this 100 grand candy bar to describe you. And this is a hard candy bar to find. It's not as common as a Snickers or a Baby Ruth. It's kind of very special, and so that's why I chose it for you. Now, in the dictionary, it says 100 means a century or a period of 100 years. Grand means a very large in scope, intended to have an important or impressive result. Now, the 100 grand candy bar, it provides a richer, more rewarding snack experience because of its crunchy chocolate, abundance of soft, chewy caramel, and inherent association with money. And I guess there's somewhat a correlation between you and the 100 grand, since you worked for me in the business office last year and were around some money occasionally. Now, Natty is not a brown lump of unorganized, crunchy, gooey stuff, but rather a grandeur of delight, nestled in a creamy softness that she shares wherever she goes. She's talented, consistent, and dependable. The flavor of her smile and friendship is smooth and creamy and has a lasting effect on those she meets. Now, on Natty's Facebook page, someone posted the following. Now, it was in Spanish, and I don't speak or read Spanish, so I was relying on Google's translation. It says, "May God bless you and always keep you. You are a very beautiful human being. You are worth gold, precious gold, and refined." The definition of grand said it is very large in scope. And Natty, you are very large. Not in size, but in scope. You have 100 years of knowledge within that young mind of yours. So I pray that you use your knowledge, your mind, and your body for God, because He has something great in store for you. And I'm certain that He intends for you to be an important part of His family, and your continued service for Him will have an impressive result. It's already had an effect on me and those that are around you. Someone once said that the 100 grand candy bar is a candy bar that's so good it's basically a full meal. You're a complete package, and I'm happy to have experienced your friendship. You are truly grand. Now, I was going to give this to you, but I was told we're not supposed to give gifts. So I'm going to have to eat it myself. I appreciate you, Natty.
It is nice to know that Mr. Helm listens to me from time to time. about the gifts, so thank you very much. All right, so Carter Sellers. Carter. Come down front here, please. Out in this area here, so people might want to take pictures, all right? All right. I first met Carter when he and his family would come up to visit his brother in the dormitory. And I thought, oh my, what is this kid that is coming up here? The one thing I knew that I had in common with him was we both loved to wear sports paraphernalia. Baseball caps, jerseys, and even though we don't agree on all of the teams, we do like the Rockies together, right? He has a Teddy Bridgewater Viking jersey that I lust after, okay? But then he sports a Cowboys jersey. Yeah, that got Ezekias on his side, right? Then he went way over the top with me and wears Raiders caps. Yeah. So it just lets me know you're not perfect. Okay, it just lets me know that. But we do enjoy talking together about sports and seeing how our teams are doing, and brings lots of tears to our eyes at different times. But when he first came to Campion Academy, he was really quiet. I thought, how is he going to get looped in here at Campion Academy? I was really impressed that it didn't take very long, and you started making friends, and that friendship group grew and grew. And that's one thing I like about Campion Academy is our students take people in. And Carter, I like how you are learning that lesson too of taking other people in, taking them under your wing. You have a caring heart, and I love watching that in you. It's been an inspiration for me to see how you are doing. Something else that is inspiring to me is your family. You're a lucky guy. This family travels like crazy to come and watch you at your ball games, come up here, you pitching in baseball, third base. Do you play some other positions too? Those are the main ones there? Yeah. And they'll come up and watch. And I live so close to the baseball field, you wouldn't believe it, and I don't even go over to see him if the weather's bad. But, your family will be there, It's a great thing what you have in your family, a great resource that is going to carry you far. And I just love your family, how they rally around you. As I look at your life, to me you embody the motto of your class, that if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. You've had challenges. We know that. But we're seeing the change. And I tell you what, we're very proud of what we're seeing. Well done, Carter. Manny Espino. Come on up a little bit closer here. Manny. So, Manny, I'm so glad to see that you've rolled up the pant legs, because in the movie Ice Age, the water was rising, and you remind me so much of the star of that show. What was his name? Manny. Yes, in the movie Ice Age. It's not even appearances, though. It is the fierce loyalty that you have for your friends. You stick up for your friends like none other. And I enjoy seeing that, even though it annoys me at times, I must admit. But still, that loyalty, that care you have for your friends, you stick up for them, and I'm very pleased to see how you do that. You've been the goalie for our soccer team for 3 years. The last 2 years, you were part of the championship teams. This year, let's give him a hand, you guys. That was quite a deal. This year, you were recognized as on the second team when they elect all the different teams. I forget exactly how to explain this, but you were a second team electee. Congratulations on that. But in the semifinal game against Sunnydale, what an event. It was tied 4-4, and so they're having a shootout, and Manny's a goalie, but they actually pulled him out to be one of the goal shooters. That shows you how swift I am. Goal kickers, whatever that is, okay? He was going to kick the ball into the net, okay? That's what he was going to do. So he gets up there and he actually makes that goal to give us a lead 5-4. Then he turns right around and has to get into the goalie net himself to try to defend it, and does a fantastic job of making a block, preserves our victory in the semifinals, and takes us to the championship game. Congratulations. Well done. So the sports are fun and so forth, but really the character of Manny is shining through. He loves to help others. Dean Force tells me that you will be one of the first ones to raise your hand if they need help in the community, and also that you have been helpful in tutoring students in the dormitory. We appreciate that. But just this last week, I got to hear your testimony in our fusion worship Wednesday night. And I didn't realize all the challenges. I knew you had some challenges, but I didn't realize all the challenges that you went through. That was very inspiring to me to hear how at one point your belief in God was shattered, but how God brought you back from that to a belief in Him and the ability to help others. Manny, I got to tell you, you are exhibiting the mission of our school. You're learning about God, and you're learning how to share Him with other people. And I really respect that and appreciate that. Congratulations.
Okay, I will be talking about 2 ladies and 1 gentleman tonight. So we will start with the gentleman, Luke. I know I don't look it, but I am old enough to remember when Luke was born. When I left Brighton, I didn't see you for many, many years. Then a few years ago, I saw you, and I couldn't believe that this tall kid was little Lukey. And then I became your teacher. I didn't know what you were going to be like. I've known your family for a long time, aunts and grandparents included. Hey, guys. So I had a few ideas that you might be outgoing and chatty and giggly. But instead, I saw that you are quiet, a little shy, and you keep to your friends that you established years ago. I think that these are all strengths. In a class full of talkers, it's nice to have a quiet corner to go to for some peace and calm conversation. You may be a bit shy, but you never cease to be a gentleman. You are not showy when you do a good deed, and therefore some of what you do can be overlooked. It's a shame because I think you deserve more praise than you get. So now I'm going to say that I think you are a respectful young man who I had the honor to teach, and I hope I have many more students like you in the future. I will end with a quote that I think fits you perfectly. Courage, kindness, friendship, character. These are the qualities that define us as human beings and propel us, on occasion, into greatness. I'm excited to see what your courage, kindness, friendship, and character will do for you because I know that you are meant for great things. Krishalyn? Krishalyn? Come here. What are you doing? Take your time. Okay. Krishalyn is the only girl in this class that can say she moved into the dorm day 1 of freshman year, I think, right? Yeah. And this shows her leadership because almost everyone else moved in their sophomore year. So good job, Krishalyn. Krishalyn, you have been on an amazing journey here. When you first came to Campion, all I could get were head nods from you, so I tried to avoid asking yes or no questions. And now you are an RA with the biggest and loudest hall. It's true, they know. Whenever Mrs. Meckelberg and I brag about the RAs, we always say Krishalyn has blossomed this year. My favorite moment with you was when we told you that you were going to be an RA. At first, you seemed to be in shock, after which you started laughing, and you said, If you had told me my freshman year that I was going to be an RA, I wouldn't have believed you. Krishlyn, you are a beautiful person. You love your family and take your job of older sister very seriously. You have a talent for calligraphy, so much so that Mrs. Meckelberg and I are going to plan the dorm theme for the next couple years just so that you can make the canvases. You make people feel at peace and comfortable because you don't judge them and because you are kind to everyone. You lead by example. You do not need to talk about God so much because you reflect him and his character with your actions and your choices. I'm going to miss jumping out behind corners and scaring you next year. It's very easy to do. I'm going to miss hearing your contagious laugh, but what I'm going to miss most about you is your heart and compassion. I know that wherever God takes you, that you will be a blessing to many people as you have been a blessing to me. The last person I'm going to talk about is a hard worker and chocolate enthusiast. This is Hannah Phelps. Okay. Hannah, what stands out most to me about you is your work ethic. You do not let any obstacles get in the way of your goals because to you it's simple. Put in the work and you will see results. You also have a rare gift of being humble about your accomplishments. You're too busy working to be bragging. But you have many accomplishments to brag about, such as your grades and the elections you have won. But you also have other gifts that I'm going to brag about for you. You have a kind heart. You are literally Mother Duck. I know it's supposed to be Mother Goose, but she had ducks, so I'm making it work. I see how several girls in your class and on your hall depend on you, and I think you bring a nice balance of pushing people out of their comfort zones, but also being a safe place for them to talk. You are also hilarious. I recently went to a tea party with you, and I think we can safely say that we won't be introducing you to the Queen of England anytime soon. There was like napkins and chocolate everywhere, and I was, yeah. I think it's awesome that you want to be a biology teacher. Your future students are so lucky because you will be patient with them and you will show them what it means to contribute to the world the gifts God has given them. I'm going to miss you next year and the gifts God has given you. Continue eating your daily chocolate and being a gift to those who know you.
Good evening. The student that I am going to be speaking about, I can relate to a lot, and I know that he can relate to me as well. I'm going to invite Charlie. No, I'm sorry, Jerry. Sorry, Charlie. Those two names. This is Jerry. He's our new student. I think he just arrived 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Jerry, the reason I can relate to you is because I'm also the new guy to the staff here at Campion Academy. You know, although I was one of the pastors here as full-time staff, and I'm just their youth pastor here, it's been an interesting shift, you know, to go over there and try to teach when that wasn't my background. But Jerry, I'm going to let you guys know a little bit about him. He's from China. He was just in Ontario, and he had to come here for some, you know, visa issues and stuff. But I don't believe it was a coincidence, Jerry. I believe that the reason you're here is to be a blessing in our lives, so we can add another friend to our lives. All right? He's from, I wrote it down, Kunming in China, and his dad over there works for the government with environmental stuff, air pollution. And his mom runs or is owner of 4 fast food restaurants, equivalent to what the McDonald's would be here in the United States. So we have that other thing in common. We love food. Your mom runs the fast food, and I'll eat that fast food. And something else about Jerry is that Jerry likes badminton. I like badminton. I'm not Lin Dan. You know, Lin Dan is the guy who's supposed to be like one of the best at badminton and stuff. So while I just met you, Jerry, I've only had you in class twice. I know we're going to become good friends. And my invitation to you, Jerry, is these last few months that you're going to be with this class, most of these guys have known each other their whole entire lives. These last few months that you're going to be with them, these last few months that you guys will get to know Jerry, guys, make it count. Make that friendship. A friendship can become instant. Yes, if you have a few months together, play some badminton with him. He also likes video games. I don't remember which ones you liked. I think Call of Duty was one of them. I'm not sure. I just remember that sticking out in my head. But guys, these last few months, become good friends, okay? Accept him, and you accept them as one of your family, all right? To finish off, I want to read this Bible verse to you. This is God speaking to Micah, to the nation. It says, "He has shown to you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." From that short conversation I had with you in the dorm, I know that you're a humble guy. All right? And I know this is going to be an awesome last part of the semester, and God bless you.
Hello. I have two wonderful young people to recognize this evening, and both of these people are essay officers. So I was thinking, what could we have in common? And the first young lady, Miss Devaney, would you please come down? Stay there. So Devaney was very busy this year getting ready for a banquet, and once she says, "My mom makes just the best banana bread." And so she said, "I want to make banana bread for the banquet." So her mom came, and we made banana bread, and I'm thinking, just how is Devaney like banana bread? And I found out there were several things. So the first is, but bread, of course, is held together with flour. Flour is a base. Honey, you are a good thinker. A good way to plan your life, to think about things, to be a good student, to plan, to do all these things. Flour also holds things together, and I have seen you go out of your way to make other people comfortable, part of the group, to invite them in, even to challenge other people, to invite others in, and you really have done that. Banana bread also has sugar, and you're so sweet. You have a wonderful sweet attitude. I have seen some people not always be so kind to you, but you return a smile and a sweet attitude, even though things don't always go your way. And of course, banana bread has bananas. And when you're together with your friend Hannah, I have seen you guys go bananas. It happens regularly. And then we added a very special ingredient, chocolate chips. And so that special ingredient is God's plan for your life, Devaney. 2 Peter said, God has blessed you with all you need to fulfill his will for your life. So remember that special ingredient in your life. Thank you. So since we're on the food theme, obviously I like food. Okay, so Nick, come up. Okay, so my class made breakfast the other day, and I'm thinking, now here is a main thing in this breakfast that was omelets, and omelets are made from eggs. I thought, how could Nick be like eggs? You know, eggs provide protein and structure. They build. Your body uses that to build things, and Nick likes mechanical things. Work on that motorcycle, ride that motorcycle, get his hands dirty, do all kinds of mechanical things, build things, do those kinds of things, and the ability to work. Nick, you're a good worker. And so, you know, another thing about eggs, they have strong, thin shells. They do a lot to protect. until work is accomplished. Their job in the shell is to protect that egg, and you have many jobs that you've taken on. Okay, it's your turn to plan an activity, it's your turn to do this, and you have taken those on. You have the strength to accomplish those and the determination to make sure that that's done the way it is. And eggs often add many things to a meal. You can have scrambled eggs, boiled eggs, poached eggs, deviled eggs, all kinds of eggs. And all of those things help. And you are a wonderful helper. I have seen you volunteer to help so many times and help so many students. Today, you were a helper when we had just a little spill accident in the essay meeting. Help is wonderful. You are a great helper. And I know many people appreciate the help that you have given. I read that Romans crushed eggshells and sprinkled them around their plates to keep the evil spirits from hiding underneath them. And so here is my verse for you. If you have faith, then you have hope, for one cannot live without the other. So keep your faith and your hope. Thank you.
Somebody wanting a physics lesson, did I hear? Oh, okay. Favorite class, right? Yeah, there you go. Okay. We did an egg drop this week, so they had a lot of fun. Then today we had a test, so they didn't have so much fun. Brenda. Last year, when you came to Campion, you were so quiet, I really don't remember when I first met you. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, there's that quiet girl. I remember taking record and seeing your name, but that was about it. But then as the year went by, I saw in you someone who was very trustworthy and dependable. And one day I said, I want her to work for me in my department because I knew I needed a good worker the next year because my other workers were graduating. And I asked you to work for me, and you didn't say anything, so I thought, well, okay, maybe she doesn't want to work for me. And then when this year started, I asked her, I said, so where are you working? She goes, for you. I said, oh, good. I was so glad. So thank you for agreeing to work for me. And even though, well, let me say it this way. I really appreciate the initiative that you take because I know at the beginning of the year things were kind of busy. I had more responsibilities than I had the year before. And you figured it out. I would come in and get ready to teach you something, and you already, oh yeah, Mr. Costa, I've got it taken care of. It's like, oh, thank you so much. You don't know how much you have made my life easier, knowing that the grades are taken care of and everything's graded and everything. So thank you so much. That desire to do what is expected of you and go beyond is something that's going to take you a long ways in this life. And Jesus promises us that if we follow him and do what he desires, that his burdens are light, his yoke is easy. Doesn't mean life is going to always be easy, but it's way easier than going without Jesus. So with Jesus on your side, I know you'll go far. Tanner. You know what? This has turned way too much this way. I'm going to turn it a little bit, then I can see everybody and don't have to twist. There we go. Tanner, I don't remember what grade you were when you came to BAA, but you were quite a bit smaller then. Seeing you running around on the playground and everything, one thing I noticed is you always had that kind of goofy grin on your face, because I never know what you're up to, and quite often you are up to something. You quite often have a quick joke or maybe just a prank that you're doing on your friends or whatever. So even though you're kind of quiet, I know that inside there's quite a sense of humor just waiting to come out. And I've truly enjoyed getting to know you. I haven't had you in a lot of classes, but we do get to spend some time up in the mountains because each year our families get together up in the mountains and really enjoy some good times up there. And I think it's a lot more open. We just don't feel the restraints of the classroom and the school and everything. And it's been a joy watching you, especially with your dad. You and your dad seem to be really close. And I value that friendship that families have when they stick close together. Too often, I think in today's world, we see so many homes that are broken up, and I know many of us have been touched by that, but to see that closeness there and to see you having fun. And a lot of times teens don't like being around parents. I know there was a time in my life, it's like, I don't want to be around mom and dad, but I appreciate that closeness that you have. Tanner, you have a lot of natural abilities. God gives each of us abilities, and those talents or abilities that he has given us, if we use them for his glory, he will multiply. Just like he says in the parable, that he will continue to multiply those throughout our lives. And I expect to hear great things about you someday. His promise to you is, seek first his kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you. Jacob. You two came to Brighton at a pretty young age. Was it first or second grade? Was it, or third maybe? Was it? Oh, it was kindergarten. Okay, even before that. Is your kindergarten teacher sitting out here today? That's what I thought. Quite a family, the Brighton group. And I notice the Brighton guys often stick together. We've had some Brighton groups go through here that they still hang out together, and they've already graduated from college. So there's something about that Brighton group. So when you came, I really didn't know you because I taught your brother, and you were just Zach's little brother. But then as the years went by, and again, as our families went out camping together up in the mountains, that's where I really got to know you. And there's something I learned about you, Jacob. You can do anything. Now, that might sound like I'm just bragging or just exaggerating, and I don't really mean it in the hyperbolic sense that he can do just anything, but anything that you put your hand to, you do it. You don't give up. I've never seen you give up. I've never seen you back down. It doesn't matter whether it's a class that's really hard and you might be failing. You're going to step forward and you're going to make the very best of it, and you are going to come out on top. That right there is going to get you a long ways in life, Jacob. Anything that you choose to do, you're going to do it, and you're going to finish it. Another thing about you, Jacob, is whatever you say, I know you're going to do. Your word is worth more than a signed document that a lot of people might do. If you say you're going to do something, I'm not going to worry about it because I know it's going to get done. This year has not been probably the easiest year of your life, but when things were tough, I don't know that everybody around you even knew that because you were still out there encouraging others. And I want to encourage you now and remind you that God says to you, as he told Moses, Joshua, David, and many others throughout his life, throughout time, be strong and be of good courage, for the Lord your God will go with you.
So I want to hug the individuals when I'm done. So Grace, could you just come up so it's not awkward afterwards? Sweating a little. Yeah. Thank you. Grace, you joined us here at Campion last year. You look beautiful, by the way. And I soon found out you'd be joining my all-star team of library workers. Little did I know how lucky I was. I have never met anyone so willing to help others out and go the extra mile. Grace, you have a servant's heart, and that is something I hope you never lose as you grow and face the future. You bring peace, calm, and confidence to those you engage with, and you are kind. That, perhaps above all your other attributes, is something I so admire about you. Thank you for your hard work these last 2 years in the library. You are dear to me and will be sorely missed, and I will be praying for you in your future endeavors. Alex Fazio. So your parents can start filming. you are also dear to me because you came to the library even though you didn't need to check something out or have to do homework. You came just because. And I know a lot of teachers can relate when we say how much it means to us when a student stops by to chat and just be friendly. Thanks for all the chats these last 3 years. I will miss your arguments and your sarcasm. I admire your intellect, your resolve to not make poor choices, and most of all, your desire to love Jesus. Your parents have every reason in the world to be proud of you. Your friends every reason to like you, and your teachers every reason to miss you. I still keep my fingers crossed you'll meet my niece someday. Remember, she's headed to college next year. And she's still hot. Good luck making your mark on the world. Oh, and smile more. You have a fantastic one, and the world's already got enough to frown about. I'll be praying for you.
Angie Sedano. Front and center. She's my worker, has been my worker since last year, and today we were sitting on opposite sides of the desk and we were talking about tonight, and the comment was made, well, teacher's gonna be talking to us or about us, and I just sat there thinking, oh, if you only knew. Did you know I had you? Oh, good, that's good. A year ago, I lost my worker to the RAs, and so I asked who would be a possibility, and I was told Angie Sedano. She's from Texas, and we've had an awful lot of fun. She's been an excellent worker, probably the best printer I have ever had. And in my office, you're printing a lot of envelopes and stuff. Another thing she's really good at is at taking all these dishes that I have when I do like the appreciation dinner. It's her responsibility to get them from the school to the church. I'm so thankful for her. So when a person works for me, they have their own candy drawer, which she has candy that she likes. And a lot of times we'll start the day off with maybe a trip to Into Juice or Starbucks sometimes, or Sonic. I just really, really have appreciated your happy attitude all the time. No matter what I give you to do, you do it with a smile. I'm basically, when it comes to technology, I'm challenged, especially when it comes to finding stuff on the computer. And I'll say, Angie, can you do this? And she just sits down and does it. So I'm very, very thankful for that ability that you have also. Always, always walk with God. In Isaiah 41:10 and 13, Angie, it talks about how fear not that God is with you. And in what I love is in verse 13, it says, God will hold your hand. So as you look to the future, always keep your hand in God's, and He will lead and guide you.
You know, every year it's my privilege to watch, especially the girls in the dorm, mature and grow in Jesus. And I love it. And I have just two that I get to talk about tonight. And I would like Rachel and Kelby to come up here together, please. I'm going to talk about Kelby first. So I looked up Kelby's name, and it says Kelby, smart, beautiful, and fun to be around. And that fits our Kelby. Kelby loves to spend time with her family, and she loves, brightens up her day when she can spend time with her friends with something hot to drink. And she always has time to help someone whenever they need it. And so I went around and I talked to all the girls that are on her hall, and I said, tell me in one word how you would describe Kelby. And this is what they said. Nice, awesome, extraordinary, sweet, mom, kind, gentle, spectacular, and selfless. Okay, so just stay there for just a minute. So our next one is Rachel, and her name says, a great person to have fun with, and she does what she thinks will help. And this fits Rachel too. Rachel usually has a sparkle in her eye, a mischievous look on her face, a dance in her step, and laughter on her lips. And the girls on her hall described her this way: amazing, silly, energetic, loving, uplifting, likable, funny, kind, outgoing, and talented. But what I like about these two girls the most is that every day they show their girls Jesus.
I would like to invite Lauren to stand. Lauren. I remember when Lauren and her sister first came to Campion, there were a lot of tears. Leaving your hometown and friends and family is not an easy thing. I remember when you almost left and went back to California. But then you decided to stay, and I'm so happy you did. And I'm proud of how you decided to give it a chance. I think it was a difficult decision, but at the same time, it was a transition that I observed to be an easy one because you made friends easily and are a caring, likable, and friendly person. Not only do you have a warm smile, but I have experienced your kindness when you asked how Jeunesse was doing and how I was doing during the tough times we have experienced this last year and a half. You listened when I talked, and you said you were praying, and that meant a lot to me and still does. I am always impressed with how talented Lauren is at multiple things: sports, music, academics. What an awesome addition to our Campion family. Lauren sang for me all 4 years she was here at Campion and is a very solid addition to our alto section. To say we will miss your beautiful voice is an understatement. I want to encourage you to continue to be a light for Jesus the way you did for me. When you go to college, I know you will continue working hard at all things and will continue to be caring and kind to all you meet. I, for one, am so glad you decided to give Campion a chance, and I'm thankful to get to know you better during your experience here. I know wherever you go, you will be a leader and a light for Jesus. Remington has a beautiful God-led story of how she came to this campus. If you have never heard the story, ask her sometime. She is never one to turn down a chance to talk. Her story is a reminder that God is always looking to find us and lead us to places we don't expect. One of the many things you will notice about Remington is that she has a light about her. She loves people and being with them and talking to them and laughing with them. You can hear her laugh all the way down the hall, all the way across campus. Her happiness is contagious. She is positive and uplifting to be around. She loves sharing Jesus. You will no doubt hear her sometime this weekend use her talents to worship God, and that is something that I'm always blessed by. Her voice is powerful and soul-filled. Remington gives her all in whatever she does, whether it is sports, classes, worship leading, or singing for me in Koinonia and choir. I have been blessed to have her sing for me not just 4 years, but 5, because she sang for me in choir her 8th grade year at HMS. Kudos to her for putting up with me for so long, and she will be missed tremendously. I will miss her positive energy and excitement when she comes into rehearsal. I will miss her singing in the bathroom next to the music department and hearing her sing her part down the hallway as she leaves practice every day. Thank you for being you and for allowing Jesus to use you on this campus. I pray that the plan set in motion those years ago when your mom found that book next to the road will be something you will never forget. Never forget that Jesus loves you and will never leave you. I am proud of you, and I can't wait to see where he will lead you.
All right. So, the first person that we're going to describe with these 3 words: helpful, determined, and mischievous. Helpful because I believe that he has put in as much work on essay as many of my essay officers. Determined because he is the longest test taker I have ever had, all the way to the end and beyond. He also is determined to make sure that he attempts everything possible to break his body in multiple pieces while riding bikes and doing things outdoor, or freezing himself while ice fishing. Mischievous because the look that he gives is always, "Who, me?" He also tries to sit behind me in class to creep me out. All right. This is my friend Cole, and I want you to remember that I am proud of the man that you are becoming and that I am in your corner. So next person, the 3 words that I chose were creative, cunning, and mature. This person, should we go on, or are we going to discuss who's mature in this class? Okay. So, creative, I see this person with so much talent, with ideas in art, in project, in design, in drawing, in brainstorming, continually adding to the discussion and pushing us to new levels in our classes. Cunning, when they play card games, they just really start to focus. The strategy to figure out how to navigate high school and ADCO is just fine-tuned. And mature. The one thing that I remember about high school that I learned was when ADCO made decisions that didn't make sense and I couldn't figure out, and I sat down with my dean and he said, "It won't be forever." And you've shown me this year that we went through some of those decisions and we've made it. And I want you to remember that my home is always open to you. Stephen Johnson.
I love you, people. Hannah Kaiser, I need you to come right here. Right here. Here. Right here. Hannah, I truly believe that of all the things that went wrong after I chose to speak about you, that it turned out that I got a chance to speak about you. And it's because I feel you need to know that you have been Jesus to me. And I thought, well, I can't just talk about me. It's about you also, so I talked about other people. I talked to other people about you, and I've been talking about you for a number of days. So I felt guilty, so I needed to talk to you. It was quite moving to find out that the three things that I would describe just flowed out of other people. The fact that you are a caring friend, that you give up so much of your time and yourself to just help someone else. And I think it's important that you know that you've been Jesus to many people here at Campion. Then, your time in the orchestra and praise. And I wish I had time to get into the crazy, the crazy, like your behavior in the vicinity of Mr. Cost in his classroom and your friends. I don't know. I wish I had time, but I don't. And then I wanted to talk about all your travels and all the places you've been, all the places God's taken you. And then I'm really dying to talk about and get to know more about your sophisticated palate. So there's so much I still want to learn about you. So I started with the most important. And I want to tell you, I think I'm not the only one that would like to spend more time with you and would like to know you better. So we love you. We're so glad you came.
I can't tell you how much I really, really wanted to make fun of brag about every one of you guys. And I tried to petition Reader, but he would not let me. He kind of figured that the parents wouldn't be able to handle 4 hours of listening to me. So I get 2 of you. And so I'd like to have Isaac come forward first. You need to come right over here by me, buddy. Right here. All right. I want you guys to look at this smile right here. And I want to point out this smile because, well, what grade were you in when I was at ACS, at Greeley? You were 2nd grade, 1st grade? Something like that, 1st, 2nd grade? All right, so this guy right here was pretty much, hands down, all right, the cutest kid in the school, the 1 year that I worked there. Sorry, Devaney, it's like pretty much universally accepted that that was the case. I mean, I have no cute meter at all. Like, I can see a baby, and all I see is an old drooling man, all right, balding. All right? I have no cute meter at all. Puppies, I'm like, oh, cool, it's a puppy. All right? But even I had to acknowledge the cuteness that was Isaac when he was in 1st or 2nd grade. I think it was 2nd grade. I think it was 2nd grade, yes. 2nd grade. Isaac, tell me often, what did I hear from you when you were on the bench in soccer?
Put me in, coach.
Yes. And I would have to tell him, I'll get you in. I'll get you in when I'm ready. I'll get you in. How often did I talk in soccer about that 45-degree angle, where you shoot and where you pass from? We talked about that a lot, right? And I really thought that nobody on the soccer team was going to get it because they would always try to score from impossible angles. But here we are in the championship game. We'd already gone down 1-0 in the first 2 minutes. And then we're heading down the other end. Isaac gets into that area where I hate when people shoot, and he makes a perfect cross to Jeremy, and Jeremy puts it in, and that was the steamroller that got us going. So if you don't know, Isaac has a very independent streak to him. He has a lot of independence in him. And it's one of those things that I very, very much so relate to, because I have always been a very independent person. And so I completely understand that. And here's the thing, Isaac, that can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, depending on different situations. But there are some times where that can be a very, very good thing, because you're going to come through, you're going to do things and accomplish things and experience things that you've never had a chance to do before. And I want to encourage you to keep that in mind and to continue to be independent and be aware of the weaknesses that can come with independence sometimes as well, that I have had to learn in my lessons in life. I love you, man, and I am glad that you decided to be with us your senior year, buddy. All right, Cesar. Please grace me with your presence. So, Cesar, I remember the first time I saw you. I probably wasn't even on your radar. You didn't even probably know who I was. But I remember at Academy Days coming into the gym, and you were visiting, and you were playing basketball, and I was like, this guy's an athlete. This guy's an athlete. We could use him here. We could use him here. And you came your first year, and you struggled a bit, right? You have a little bit of an independent streak to you as well, but you struggled a little bit, and you decided that you were ready to go back home for a semester. Well, like Isaac, I am very, very glad that you came back. Caesar, I have always, with our sports teams, appreciated your leadership, and I really feel like you make our sports teams better just with your encouragement, and you not being afraid to step up and get excited about things, to tell people, hey, listen, we need to be doing this. And that's something that is an intangible that just you can't find a lot of times in high school with kids, is that leadership. And that is always appreciated. And I want the people that are here today to also understand that leadership isn't just in sports, but Caesar is one of those type of guys that is not afraid to step up and pray any given situation or to talk about God. And that is another thing that I respect very much so in you, buddy. And I'm really, really glad and feel really, really blessed that I've had a chance to have you in my life. Come here.
Okay, Jordan, please stand up. Okay, a dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. Courage, sacrifice, commitment, toughness, heart, talent, guts. That's what little girls and big girls are made of. Do not underestimate the determination of a quiet woman. Quiet people just do their work. Determination is the quality that comes to mind when I think about you, Jordan. This is the characteristic that will make you successful as a doctor or whatever else you decide you're going to do. You don't give up. I don't think the word can't is in your vocabulary. We've had 4 years of working together, and you run your job like a well-oiled machine. At the beginning of this year, I would mention jobs that we needed to do to get ready for school to start, and she would respond, "That's already done." I've given you many tasks to do and just told you to figure out how to do it, and you always do. Everything you do very well. Another attribute that describes you is positive. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Last year, when you tore your ACL and you couldn't play basketball, I never heard you complain about it. All your comments were positive and planning towards when you could be able to play sports again. In fact, I remember your dad saying that you ran in the boulder with your tore ACL and you did quite well. Jordan enjoys playing sports and has a very balanced perspective on competition. After a game, I will ask her, how did it go? And she'll respond by saying, well, we played pretty well, but we lost the game. Or it was a good game. The other team was good, but we ended up winning. She always talks positively about the games, whether her team wins or loses. But what trumps all of these characteristics, Jordan, is your character. Character is doing the right thing when nobody is looking, and I believe that is true about you. People of character do the right thing even if no one else does, not because they think it will change the world, but because they refuse to be changed by the world. You excel in many things: academics, sports, music. Yes, I enjoy hearing you play the piano. And leadership. But what matters the most is to strengthen that connection with Jesus. This is where true strength comes from. There are 2 verses I'd like to share with you. Whatever you find your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Ecclesiastes 9:10. And I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. I need a hug.
Logan Carl, come on up. I've enjoyed getting to know you these past 4 years, and you are a one-of-a-kind guy with many talents. Sometimes I've seen you, it looks like you're kind of off in La La Land maybe, but I think you're really a deep thinker, and you're thinking about something. And the examples I'm going to give to illustrate this, you can get. Logan, you have skills in blacksmithing. You're good with your hands at making things. I'm seeing you haul around stuff you've welded and different things like that. You're musical, playing the bagpipes and several flute-like instruments that I don't know what the name of them are. Logan, you are a respectful gentleman. You are also a good kilt-wearing Irishman. And have plans to take psychology in college. I appreciate the fact that you love God and that it shows. And I want you to remember this from Psalms 33:18. Behold, the eye of the Lord is on those who fear him, on those who hope in his mercy. Lauren Fry. You are a talented young woman. You are good at volleyball and basketball. You also have the ability to get a lot done and keep your cool. Let's see, how many seniors could successfully work LE, which is 4 hours a day, be a yearbook editor, be involved with the student association, play sports in the evening, and still be successful with school? I don't know when you sleep. That work ethic will take you far, Lauren. I have enjoyed the times you have hung out at our house, and I especially enjoy seeing you be a spiritual leader on campus, singing, praise time, speaking. It's always well thought out. I have a text for you. From Psalms 16, 7 and 8. I will bless the Lord who has given me counsel. My heart also instructs me in the night seasons. I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Tommy Eichmann. Tommy, I've loved watching you grow from when you and Kelby used to fight with each other over toys to where you are today. You are thoughtful as a big brother, and you're a gentleman. It has been fun watching you play basketball and soccer at the tournament. I've enjoyed watching you, or I enjoyed having you work with me for a year and talking about cars. We have some good choices, don't we? What I admire most is watching how you treat family and being a positive spiritual leader. Some examples of your spiritual leadership were being an RA, working for the Boulder Church in the summers, speaking for weeks of prayer, and even preaching. Here's a text I want to leave you with. Lord, we show our trust in you by obeying your laws. Our heart's desire is to glorify your name. Isaiah 26:8. I love you, Tommy. I wanted to talk about Kelby, but the deans somehow have priority on the RAs, so I'm just going to say I'm really proud of you.
Crystal? I haven't really known you until this year, but you made an impression on me. The first time I really knew her was when the seniors came over and helped pull up carpet at the church. Now, I know they thought it would be a somewhat easy job, and I think it turned out to be a lot more than they thought it would be. Crystal got stuck in a 10 by 10 room. I termed it, Pastor Nestor's office, the room from hell, because it had the stickiest green glue on the back of that carpet that we have ever seen. It took them all day. We did the whole rest of the church, and we were still, that was the last part that we had to do. Crystal stuck it out. She said later on in the afternoon, she said, I am going to get this carpet out of here if it's the last thing I do. And she did. And then she came and worked for me for about a month. And that was a great month. The doorbell always rang at 8:30, and you knew who it was. She was never late. She did her work well. It was a joy to have her around, and I thank you that you were available. You showed me what perseverance was, and you always were on your time and worked well, and always a joy to be around. Thank you for being you. May God bless you and all that He has in store for you. I'm super glad that I got to be a part of your life. So one Saturday night in the gym, there were a few of us down there playing basketball. And we were shooting around, and I think there were about 5 of us. There weren't very many of us. And so we were shooting, and my basketball just kept going in the hoop. And so one of the guys said, wow, Mrs. Johansson, you are quite the baller. I was like, well, you know, I can play. And so it became our little joke. that every time that we saw each other playing ball, we would say, "You gonna dunk it? Who's gonna be the first to dunk it?" As you can tell, I am not of the stature that is probably gonna ever dunk a basketball. And maybe he's not either. But Alex, thanks for being a friend these past years. Always be your own man. And as the road takes the turns that are unexpected and the hills seem like they are insurmountable, don't forget that God's climbing and turning right along with you. And with wisdom and grace and mercy, he's just with you. You will always be a cool dude in my eyes.
Let's see how smart they are. How many left? Okay, see, Devaney, thank you. Yes, good job. All right, there's 4 left. There is 4 left. Yeah, cool. There are 4 left. I'm foreign. Before I start, I'd like to give a shout out to the HMS people. Jordan, Kelby, Remington. I'll just say 3 things, very brief. Junior high's praise team, djembe, Dakota Featheringill. That's all I'll say. Fast forward 6 years, and if you come to church, you'll hear something entirely different, right? Amen. Praise God. All right. We're going to start a hashtag LKF. It's going to be trending. Anything I'm associated with is going to start trending. Don't worry about it. Little known fact. There's a person in this class that walks about humbly among us and does not demand that we call this person Your Highness, Your Grace, Your Excellency, Your Majesty. This person doesn't ask. It doesn't know. The most excellent Gary Allen Gage is little known fact. Yeah, stand up right here. Come on. We need to take pictures. You got to Snapchat this. He descends from a line of true royal British blood. Kind of. I'm just trying to talk you up, Gary. So it's a great uncle, right? We talked about it. Remember? Yes. Grandmother. Yes. And I was super impressed. I feel like we all should genuflect immediately. Gary is some of the vignettes of Gary, he's our 1-year senior, meaning he just came. And this year is, I just remember coming late to senior survival, spotting Mr. Koss for some sponsorship and supervision. And I just remember Gary surrounded by a bunch of other people, and then they were doing this. And they were blowing inside their hands. I was like, what's happening? What's the deal? And what Gary did is grabbed a hot coal from the fire directly, put it in his hand, just shake it around, right? And everybody thought that was so cool, including myself. But I had to play cool because I'm an adult. Next vignette, super awesome, Gary. I love it. So Iron Man comes around, and Gary's pumped, and he's really excited, right? And I'm doing the bat thing. He goes around, and after Gary got done, I just see him, pupils dilate, and he falls on the ground. And I was like, CPR training, here we go. All right. And turns out what happened was, and this happens to everybody, he just had a sugar high. That's all it was. And little known fact, Gary is living with a diabetes, and he is just managing that super well, and is excelling at everything that he does. So that's something that I noticed this year about Gary. The last thing I want to talk about is I'm in supervision Sabbath morning, and all of a sudden I just hear Gary, but I don't see him, and I'm looking around. What's going on? I'm center campus, and all of a sudden you see Gary poke out like 50 feet above the ground on a tree. I'm like, oh, I'm doing a great job at supervising. This is great. Good thing Reader's not around. But he and his friends, there's a lot of Wyomingites and some inherited people, right? Yeah. And they have a nice little group. And I could just see how Gary would help everyone else kind of climb up to the tree and just be very, very helpful and caring and want everybody to experience what he's experiencing. And that just lets me know that you really care about people and that you're very loving and kind. And the verse that I like to leave you with is John 15:3, the words of Jesus saying, "There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends." Good job, Gary. I love you, man. Hashtag LKF. It's already trending, guys. I just checked. Little known fact. This next person I'm going to talk about, this person's mother hails from the greatest country in the world. That part of the fact is an opinion that is very biased. And apparently, I have known this for a long time, but I just realized this like 3 weeks ago. So I'd like Kathleen Jeanette Zelaya to come and stand right here. She's cool. All right, that's all right. She is a clarinet extraordinaire. I want to say 4 years running. Yeah, all 4 years in orchestra. Very good job. And also involved in choir a few semesters. She is also a very good athlete. Basketball, volleyball, soccer, ever? We never did soccer. This is, okay, you're not from Argentina. This is what's happening. And so this is just one of the many examples exhibited here. Happens when music comes along and then sports comes along and they look at themselves longingly in their eyes and they shut the blinds and make beautiful, beautiful babies. I love it. There's a great marriage there, and I want to see more of that. Juniors, sophomores, freshmen, let's do it. Kathy is a brilliant young lady, super smart, quick thinker. For some reason, clarinets are just the most fun section ever, depending on who you talk to in orchestra, and she has just kind of carried that baton with the other girls that have been there. She keeps me on my toes in orchestra, always say, "Oh, Mr. Cluzet, excuse me." Yeah, and then we talk about it for like 15 minutes, right? Yeah, I love that about you. And I clean up nice. If you came to school about 3 hours ago, I didn't look like this. And some people out there would say that I look like a bum. But Kathy, on the other hand, always looks amazing, right? She's always just glowing, right? Unfortunately, at the expense of being punctual to her 4th period class, which happens to be orchestra, right? And, we talked about it. We came to an understanding that, from time to time, things will happen. Every day. Yeah, every day. And I think that's good that she has priorities in order. Let's see. Let's just get down to the nitty-gritty, right? we both come from a kindred home life. You could say that Coach O does the same kind of environment. We're both what? PKs, right? Yeah. So we know what it's like to be where? At church all day long, right? And all the time, right? And we both know the values that our parents have shown and modeled for us in God's Word through fervent prayer, mano dura, no? And lots of sacrifices and so much love. I just encourage you to never forget the sacrifices your parents have made for you to be here. They, as I, know that you are going to continue walking with the Lord long after you leave Campion. Your love for God is truly evident to me, and I know you genuinely care for each and every one of your classmates around you. I'd like to leave you with a promise that God gave to Ezekiel, the nation of Israel. Ezekiel 16, verse 60. Nevertheless, I will remember my covenant that with you in the days of your youth, and I will establish an everlasting covenant with you. You made a decision to follow Christ, and God will never forget that. No matter, and I talk to everybody out here. When you came to this school for whatever reason, there's been a time when you were able to meet God, meet Jesus, and make a decision about him. If you made a positive decision, God says, I will never forget that decision. I love you guys.
Will the last two please stand up and come up front? Right there. You step up first. Yep. Well, are you really thinking who's going to talk about you guys? No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. He's lying. Paulina, wow. When you arrived here a couple years ago, you were kind of shy and a little quiet. And I just did not know how to get to know you. You were kind of distant, and I thought maybe a little snobbish. Then you showed up for soccer. And I noticed that you had quite a knack to knock people down on the field. I said, yes, I can get to know this girl. I've appreciated your energy and power on the field, and I'm looking forward to having you on the team again next month. We should have a great time. Now let's talk about some of the secrets that I've found out and learned about you lately. That's always the best part of tonight's program. I learned that you love to pull pranks on your friends. Is that true? Good. My information was pretty good. How lame is that? And what about Bubbles? Pauline, I have learned that you're a very hard-working lady and that you enjoy studying and getting awesome grades. I know that you like to demand a lot of yourself, and I figure that because of that, you're going to act like a detective at times, and you'd like to discover stuff, and I'm assuming that's why you want to become a forensic scientist. She wants to go to University of Texas or Texas A&M, and hopefully you'll pursue this. Pauline, all the joking aside, I hope that all of your dreams will become true in the near future. Go on God's errands, and always remember that He will be right there with you all the time. It's been a pleasure to be with you and be your coach. Wow. I still remember when you showed up with your parents about 3 or 4 years ago. You're supposed to have been a sophomore here, right? Yeah. He showed up at my home and I put him to work. And I thought, well, pretty cool, we'll have a new kid here. Then, I felt that he was a little unsure about himself. And when school began, he left. And Mom and Dad were not very happy. Actually, they were very sad. But he had some friendships back in Southern California that were not quite done yet. But you returned the next year. And then watch out. Here came the David that we all know today. Rowdy in the cafeteria, wild on the soccer field, but quite the hard worker on campus. David, it has been a pleasure to get to know you, but you will not get away that easily right just yet. Let's talk about some of the secrets that I learned about you. It'll be no fun without that. First, I understand that when you were a little younger, and I don't quite remember the age, you and your parents were at a restaurant having dinner, and you asked your mom for some money. Good. The next coming. Mom wanted to know what you needed the money for. What was your answer? Oh man, come on. His answer was, Mom, I need to buy a girlfriend. Am I right? Wow, David. I hope you have learned that by now that money cannot buy everything you want, even happiness. And by the way, just as a clarification, you know that Cristiano Ronaldo is still a better player than Messi anytime. Right. David, you flourished at Campion. Even your school peers have recognized your leadership skills and talents. He's president of SA at this time, this year. I've enjoyed the times I've spent with you, coaching you, talking with you, having you work for me. And I've learned that you're planning to go to one of our universities in the future. He wants to do business and finance, from what I understand. That's a great choice. He's taking finance class from me at this time. David, I wish you the best in this world and the best that it has to offer you. And always remember that God has created you, and it always will be by your side, and it always be there for you.
I'm sorry. Let's bow our heads for closing prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us all be able to gather here today on this day of recognition. Dear Lord, I'd like to thank you for my class, and I'd like to thank you for the staff here at Campion Academy, and letting them be able to come up here and letting them just be able to recognize us for all the things we've done these past 4 years, dear Lord. I'd like to pray a special prayer for my class today, dear Lord, as we only have a few months left of school, that in the future, dear Lord, wherever they go, whichever college they go to, or whichever job they pursue, I pray that they would do it to their fullest and that they would, above all, do it for you. Please be with us through the rest of this week, through the rest of this year, and in your precious and holy name, amen.